folks. Well, we have now moved west after so long, after weeks of moving all the way down south. We are going west. We are still in the Sunshine State, Florida, but we're in a different part of Florida. Florida's a large enough state where even the regions have regions. We're still in northern Florida. We didn't go into the real peninsula of it. Heading west from what was called the First Coast, the first place, St. Augustine, First Coast. We're now moving west to the panhandle of Florida. So with the Florida Panhandle, you might think of places like Destin or Panama City, where there's all these beautiful white beaches. But we're not that far west. We will be soon, but not today. Today, we are in Florida's capital city. And of all places, why would the city of Tallahassee, right in the middle of pretty much kind of nowhere, be the capital city? Well, here we have, in very large letters, the Florida capital. And from the looks of it, it's a very business-like capital. Nothing with the classical architecture. This modern capitol building resembles, I guess, the vibe of this city altogether. It's for a practical purpose. There isn't much tourism to Tallahassee unless you're a college student or you work for the government. And it kind of makes sense. There's so many other places in Florida tourists will flock to. Tallahassee's kind of low on that tourism list. But you can see the very blocky design. It's very modern. Not just the building, it's this whole courtyard that has this very blocky cubic design, which is very, very odd for a state capitol building. And based on our visits to other capital cities here in the US on the coverage project, you'll notice this is very, very odd because most capitol complexes want to show their grand design, but here in Florida it's very practical and nothing really else. Yeah, it's just nothing more than a big old grand skyscraper. Very odd. I really want to ask myself, am I missing something? Is something just visible from right in front of me that I'm just not observing? Because in terms of modern capitol buildings, the one here in Florida, this has got to be one of the ugliest, if not the ugliest capitol buildings we've seen. I don't know, maybe the other side is a bit better. Maybe we should walk around a bit, just for another glance, another view, to give this building a second chance. Gee, I'm looking at it from the other side and it's even more hideous with all the construction. You can't even observe it all too well. Wow, Florida, you really let me down. I was thinking for a state as hyped up and as toured around as the Sunshine State, its capital would be legendary, but no, we're stuck with this. We have really got to be missing something here in Tallahassee. This just can't be right. Capitol building like that? No way. I'm not satisfied yet. Whoa, what is this? Now look what we just found under our nose. This is the historic state capitol building of Florida. You could see it's a much more grand design, a much more favorable design in my opinion, because it truly showcases the grand might and power of Florida. I mean, rather than just a stone skyscraper, this really shows a lot of effort was taken in order to build this. You know, not just in the physical construction of this, but the architectural design that went into this. I mean, now you can see the newer, modern state capitol building looming over the grand old historic capitol building. Probably thinking, man, I wish I was as elegant as this building. I also love the added touch of these curtains over the windows, or whatever these things called. It kind of reminds me of those little market stands that you'd see in the local downtown area. It really gives the whole complex a nice added touch when they've preserved this building. You know, I thought it was Sunday, so that would have meant it's closed, but I see a sign right there saying it's open for a few more hours. So let's go inside. Another fascinating, captivating Capitol building. As you saw, this historical Capitol building, it's not the modern one, and it tries to preserve what the interior of the Capitol building would have looked like as members of the Floridian government congregated, assembled to make laws around the very, very early 1900s. Wow. So I exit the Capitol building and all of a sudden I see the sky littered with clouds. I thought this was the Sunshine State. Shouldn't there be sun shining upon us? I was, out of all places in the state of Florida, Tallahassee, chosen as Florida state capital. Well, it goes back hundreds of years. As I talked about back in St. Augustine, Florida was not part of America First, or Britain First for that matter. It was under the control of the Spanish. They were the first group or kingdom to colonize Florida as a whole. And so once America got its hands on Florida, once it was ceded from the Spanish to America, after a series of exchanges, there were two major places in Florida, St. Augustine, as we visited, and to the west, Pensacola, another very, very old city in Florida. Wow, I think this is the first time we've really encountered rain here on our southeast tour, but nevertheless, we still continue on our adventures. So anyway, Pensacola, St. Augustine, two most powerful, influential, largest cities in Florida at the time. Nothing was in the south but just swamps. There wasn't Miami or Tampa or Orlando as large as it is right now quite yet. So these two northern Floridian cities had a lot of power and influence, and neither city wanted to concede any bit of power having the other city as its capital city. So what was done was an agreement was made that roughly in the middle of it, Tallahassee would be born as Florida's official capital city, and that's exactly what happened. A couple hundred years later, and we're in the year 2022, we're walking here in downtown Tallahassee, and for the most part, Tallahassee isn't much to boast about. It is the capital city, but there isn't too much going on for it to be considered a big tourist draw, you know? One thing this city does have, however, is Florida State University, one of a couple of Florida's official flagship campuses. I keep getting this confusion over which is more important, University of this state or this state university. It's just so confusing for me. Why can't there just be one college? I don't know. But here at Florida State University, I think we're very nearby the campus here. There's a lot of college students, and thus there's a lot of places that draw in college students, restaurants and shops of that sort. I think we've seen a reasonable chunk of the downtown area of Tallahassee, haven't we? So I think we should head on over and do something a little bit different. See a little bit more of the culture of Tallahassee and this region. Now that mound over there, made of earth. It's not just some ordinary small hill. This mound predates Spanish Florida. It was a man-made mound made by the Native Americans who inhabited this Panhandle, Florida area. So here at Fort Jackson Mounds State Park, you can come here and witness Native American history that predates any of the colonial history from this area. Now you might be able to hear the thunderstorming in the distance. It's kind of sunny here. Just 30 minutes ago it was a complete downpour, but we can definitely take one day of bad weather here. Most days have been very, very, very sunny, so we can only be appreciative of that. I think there's actually a larger mound nearby. These century-old earthen mounds are suggested to have been used by the Native American people here, either for burials or for worship. Many of these mounds served as temples. Now what rituals specifically, we're not too sure today. That may just be lost history. Well, we are at the top of this earthen mound, and it's a very spiritual experience getting on top of one of these larger ones. Back towards the end of our Appalachian adventure when we were in Marietta, Ohio, we got to see the top of one of these mounds, but there was a cemetery all around and it didn't feel exactly like it was left alone, you know? But this Fort Jackson State Park area in Florida seems like it was meant to preserve these mounds, and so it feels almost like we're standing at a sacred place. Of what significance we don't really know, but nevertheless, I mean, with the rumbling thunder above us, the peaceful views all around, there's something very calm and tranquil about being right here at this moment. Well, there you have it. That's the state capital of the Sunshine State, Florida, Tallahassee. It's an interesting experience, this location. Although we're supposed to be in the south, and as they say, the more north in Florida you go, the more southern culturally it gets. As much as that may stand true, it just didn't seem like we were in one of these southern cities. It felt a bit different. Do you consider Florida to be a southern state? I mean, yes, it was part of the Confederacy. It did secede from the Union. This Tallahassee area and the Panhandle area once used slavery as a primary means of economic activity. This Tallahassee area was a major cotton producer. It also was the only capital city not to be burnt to a crisp when the Union military came down towards the end of the Civil War. So there's a lot of things that make Florida an interesting southern state. I mean, you go down to the south of Florida and it's almost like you're in another Caribbean country almost. So Florida as a whole is very interesting to look at and inspect. But here around Tallahassee, well, we're just at the capital, and that's all I could say about that. We still have a bit more left of northern Florida to cover here on the coverage project. We're only going west. So with that said, I'm gonna leave it off at that. Standing and overlooking at a very interesting view of the ground below us on top of a Native American mound here at Fort Jackson State Archaeological Park. More travels to come. I will see you at the next location.